Singh and what is that CSE Singh? We'll cover this later if you ask. The first thing, what is this session about? This session is about design everything. And by that I mean by everything, everyone, every individual, elder, younger, anyways. No matter what's your age, no matter what's your skill, you can design. And how is this possible? So far we covered that we have Illustrator for static designing, right? We have 2D vector designing, sometimes 3D vector designings. Then we have Figma for creating UI designs and all those vector designs and using the vast variety of templates and assets created by other great designers. But even these two have a slight learning curve to get onto it. Like even if you want to start with Illustrator, you need to spend around 2-3 days understanding the basics, covering the basics, having a hand around all the features, trying to having a try on every tool just so that you can understand what they are about. And if you come to Figma, the learning curve reduces a bit, but it still is there because you need to spend like around 1 or 2 days. And in that you spend the basics. There are just the basic tools required for any design principles, methodologies to follow. Even in fact, if you are a professional designer, a high hardcore designer who have a lot of theory and understanding and research in their heads right here, even then Figma does a lot of work for you. And again, it's much easier and smaller to use in compared to Illustrator because of the system requirements. So moving ahead, how can we create this experience for everyone? The answer was Canva. And for those who joined slightly earlier, they might notice that this is also made in Canva. And to be honest, I didn't created this slide before the session. I attended the second session by Sanskar. And after that, okay, I felt like, okay, people know a few workarounds here and there, and they are much kind of familiar about it. So I just went on to, like, you can see this is home. I went on, create a design. Okay, create a design. I chose a presentation. It creates a new window, which creates a new design here. If I refresh, it will come up here. And the only thing I did was like, okay, what can I choose? I have a lot of templates to choose from. I think this one worked well, so I chose this mathematics quiz, and I made a few edits. I chose this one, and then another one was, I think, this one, and I made this slide. Now, what is the difference? If we have Canva, why do we why do we use Illustrator at all? Why do we use Figma at all? You might have these questions, and these are perfectly reasonable questions. Again, if we have one tool, why we need another? So that is something that you will understand once you dive into it. Okay, Canva has a lot of things to offer, but again, it also takes away some level of freedom as a designer because of the uh, uh, because it wants to keep it simple and useful, and at the same time it is made for the larger audience, and also it is made for to be faster. So if you don't have it, for example, if I want to create these vectors, I cannot create vectors in Canva. Okay, let me be clear on that. If I want a vector, I either need to go around, make my own, eitherly I need to fetch around from the internet, or eitherly I need to just go around this elements and make for, like, if say I want to say subscribe, I want such kind of thing. I have a lot of vectors here. And if you see, some of these are called pro. The reason is because Canva has its premium accounts as well. It has a premium features list, and one of those things is all these elements. There are a lot of elements. Around 20 to 30% of them are free. Rest are paid for the premium users. It is a bit expensive, but you may wonder, how would you have this access? Do you need to pay for this? Let me tell you, I haven't paid yet. I may purchase it later on if I need, but right now I'm using something called as a GitHub developer student developer pack from GitHub. How many of you are students here? Can you please type a yes in the chat box, or just speak up on mic?
You can also raise your hands.
That will also work. Anyone? No students? Okay, a few 11. That's great. 16. 18. That's great. That's great. So give me a sec. I think I missed again. Okay, I think this. Anyways, I'll figure this out later. For now, let's move ahead with this. Okay, so this is the GitHub Student Developer Pack. You get a lot of things here, whether it be domains, technical tools, subscriptions, a lot of things. But one of those things is the most popular is Canva. What you get is free 12-month subscription of Canva Pro tier. So it covers almost everything. I have no limits because of the fact that I have a premium account. Everything is open for me. Okay. So this is something that you will have a lot of use once you get started with it. I do a lot of things with it. So moving ahead, slight touch on this. Yes.
After 12 months ये renew हो जाएगा अगर मतलब जैसे अपना 4 years का डिग्री है तो उसमें कर सकते हैं renew.
देखो renew कर सकते हैं, but I'm not sure how many of you will actually do because of a bit of pricing. It is not just $5 to $10. It is like a bit more than that. But again, if you want to, you can easily go ahead and renew it. I can show you.
Means student developer pack जो है.
अच्छा, स्टूडेंट डेवलपर पैक का सिंपल सा चीज है, यू कैन नॉट रिन्यू अ डेवलपर पैक. डेवलपर पैक आपके पास एज लॉन्ग एज यू आर स्टूडेंट यू हैव इट. ओके, इट इज जस्ट कि हर जो भी यहाँ पे आपको ऑफर्स दिए जाते हैं, हर ऑफर का एक अपना एक टर्म्स एंड कंडीशन होता है. तो फ्रॉम द डेट ऑफ एक्टिवेशन यू हैव अराउंड एग्जैक्टली 1 year फ्रॉम द डेट यू एक्टिवेट दिस कैनवा. ओके, आप जैसे ये पैक लोगे, आपका पैक लेने के बाद तुरंत वो सारे रिडीम नहीं हो जाते हैं. You have to manually redeem every single one offer one by one. Okay, तो उसमें क्या होगा कि जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल मैंने अभी कैनवा नहीं किया, मेरे पास अभी है, एंड उसके बाद मेरा कैनवा एक्सपायर होने के बाद मैंने इसको रिडीम किया, तो उस डेट से 1 साल तक मेरे पास इसका एक्सेस रहेगा, रेदर इट बी माई लास्ट डे ऑफ कॉलेज. ओके, कैनवा का ये टर्म्स एंड कंडीशन है. अब डिजिटल ओशन की बात करूं तो डिजिटल ओशन आपको यहाँ पे एक कोड दे देता है जिसको आप उनके प्लेटफॉर्म पे जाके रिडीम कर सकते हो. तो उनका भी कुछ एक लिमिट होगा कि इतने टाइम तक के ये प्लेटफॉर्म क्रेडिट रहेंगे, उसके बाद ये एक्सपायर हो जाएंगे. तो ऐसे आपको अगर स्मार्टली यूज करना है, सो द बेस्ट थिंग इज कि आप जो भी चीज यूज कर रहे हो उसको तभी एक्टिवेट करो जिस टाइम पे आपको उसकी नीड है. अदरवाइज सारे एक्टिवेट करके छोड़ दोगे, टाइम सब में जाएगा और सबके सब एक ही बार में एक्सपायर हो जाएंगे. तो जैसे फ्रंट एंड मास्टर्स है, इसका सिर्फ 6 months का है, लेकिन ये बहुत प्यारी साइट है, बहुत प्यारा प्लेटफॉर्म है फॉर लर्निंग वेब डेवलपमेंट. इट इज द नेम सेज फ्रंट एंड मास्टर्स, यू लर्न फ्रॉम द रियल मास्टर्स. बट अगेन इफ यू लाइक एक्टिवेट वन नाउ एंड यू गेट एग्जाम्स, आपका टाइम चला जाता है, तो ये पूरा एक्सेस वेस्ट हो जाएगा. यू विल नॉट हैव एनी आइडिया कितनी जल्दी 6 months निकल गए एंड ये एक्सपायर हो गया. ओके. Also, this is looking a bit strange because I have an extension that does this. Yeah. So these are a lot of things that you can have, but again, you should use whatever you want or whatever you want to explore, and make sure you use it the best so that you just don't activate and it expires, because one day you might need any of them, but all of maybe what you want is already expired because you tried long back earlier. And most of these things also have a free tier as well, जो trial plans होते हैं. तो instead of spending these kind of premium access, spend some time on the free tier to explore the platform, and later when you actually need to use it, then redeem these offers. Okay, I hope that's clear. Any questions? Okay, you all can what do we call this, lower your hands now, like it will be needed for the question. So it's better if everybody has lowered their hands. That's great. That's great. Okay, so moving ahead. So we have already explored what was it all around, like what do we have here? Like we covered today's session and there was a lot of things we learned. We had in Illustrator we covered on the graphics part. We understood the UI, but honestly, tell me how many of you like understood it in one snap? Was it that easy to learn? Yes or no? Okay, Shreyash, Gitika, Mahant, Kshitij understood. That's actually pretty great because yeah, yeah, please speak out. This is a friendly session, okay? So don't worry about this. Like यहाँ पे कोई objection नहीं उठेगा. Please be keep your heart out uh, and speak what you want to say. Like अच्छा लगा, कुछ समझा, कुछ आगे करना है, कुछ अभी भी doubt होगा तो please speak up. We have the other speakers as well.
भैया समझा, बस वो प्रैक्टिस करनी पड़ेगी तो ज़्यादा अच्छे से जो समझा है आज तो एक बार दिमाग में बैठ जाएगा, तो उससे हो जाएगा।
Right. Okay, so अभी अभी तक क्या आपने देखा है डिजाइनिंग को एज अ इंडस्ट्री, बट डिजाइनिंग को एज अ फ्रेंडली टूल इज व्हाट कैनवा इज ऑल अबाउट. Like Canva बना ही इसलिए था because there are we all know that this is the digital age right now and everybody needs design, and it was not possible for the complete designing industry to cater every single person on the planet, and the bigger challenge was to do it for free. You can understand it, right? Like अगर आप डिजाइनिंग करते हो तो आपके रिलेटिव्स भी आपको बोलते हैं कि भाई प्लीज बेटा एक हेल्प कर दोगे, तो आप पूछते हैं कि क्या हेल्प करनी है. तो अगर आपने गलती से कह दिया कि हाँ हाँ अंकल बिल्कुल, और उसके बाद वो बोलते हैं कि मेरा पूरा लोगो डिजाइनिंग, ब्रांड थीमिंग, वेबसाइट डिजाइनिंग करके दो, फिर आई एम्पैथाइज विद यू, आई वुड से. तो वो चीज के कारण देयर वाज दिस गैप दैट वी हैड लेस डिजाइनर्स, मोर वर्क, एंड इट वाज नॉट a kind of fitting in the terms of returns on ROI, return on investment, that you invest your time, you invest your expertise, and you still don't get much of things in return, and that was a kind of contradictory for any industry to work. So that's why Canva was brought up, in which you can design simply. Earlier there was just simple elements, but simple elements, they just created this complete UI, the whole thing, and later on they started adding these elements. There is a lot of elements right now. When it started, there was not much elements, but again it started rocking it so high, and right now we have complete templates to use directly. Okay, so you can see we have complete template libraries to use directly. Click and set, and almost everything is covered here. I barely remember that I created a design from scratch on Canva. I use Canva just because of the fact that I have designs, and in case I don't want to go for these designs, then I go to Illustrator and Figma and all stuff, because I love the freedom of having my own vectors and creating my own virtual experience. Okay, so moving ahead a bit, let me continue the slide. I have just 2 or 3. After that, we will hop on to everything into Canva. Okay, so the first of all, what you are, where you are right now is called the Dunning-Kruger effect. You have a child's hill. You're pretty damn sure you know a whole lot and feeling great about it. But once you start questioning, you will get there are some intricacies that were hidden before, and you have just explored them. And that's when you actually kind of feel like falling down, that you are acknowledging that you don't know that much, and you then stay into this insecure canyon, feeling ashamed and embarrassed about not knowing much. But to be honest, and this is the truth, every one of us, Anay, Sanskar, I, have been here as well. We might be here or somewhere here because it is a never ending curve, but this is the most kind of difficult part, because 70% of people give up here. just if they spend a bit longer or learn a bit more, increase their knowledge a bit more, they might be on a really great curve. But this insecure canon is where people give up, and I would strongly suggest not to give up because there is no reason to. Okay, so this is imminent, it will happen, but don't worry about it. It won't last, I would say. There is a lot of things, and right now a lot of resources and a lot of people around you who will help you, who will guide you, whom you can learn from. And honestly speaking, if you are really with the mindset to learn, you don't even need anybody to teach you. Everything will be teaching you in ways you might not ever completely understood, but it will be a really fascinating world if you get started with it. Moving ahead, so how to tackle this? Simple answer: keep learning, keep learning, keep learning. And that brings us to the point where we actually start designing. Okay, so first of all, let's say we have this. What should we make? Certificates, A4 documents. Tell me anything. What design should we make right now? We'll create a complete design right now in front of you in Canva.
Anmoldeep, let's go with the certificates. We have covered
Certificates.
posters and all, so let's go with the
Okay.
certificates part.
Perfect, perfect. Now, first of all, before I jump into this, I want to show you that what do we have here. Always, this is a general habit that whenever you're exploring something, make sure you literally explore it. So if we just hop on to designing, we might miss a lot of details that the platform has to offer. First of all, there's this CSE Singh. This is just a team I made for this account. Then I have 5 peoples. Okay, I can see it here. There are shared with you designs, so others can share their designs with me, and I can directly edit them. And there are these designs as well. I used to be a part of Toastmasters, so I have those designs over here as well. And I can also categorize my stuff into folders. I haven't done any because I didn't need it to, but still having this as an option is great. Then I have a team. I can invite members to my team. I can have some things. And then I have I also have a brand kit so that I can use it in every single design. I don't have kind of font, any specific fonts or colors, but I do have some logos. So that might be really useful when I'm creating some content for my brand. And then I also have this content planner. Okay, what's this? Plan your designs in advance. Okay, this plus what it does. Okay, I can even pop out my designs and attach to a calendar and accordingly post it. That's great. Moving ahead, we have templates. I won't dive into all of them. There are a lot of them. It is so difficult to cover complete Canva in just one session. But again, in social media, we have Instagram stories, post, Facebook post, covers, YouTube channel art, LinkedIn banners. And you might ask, why is this significant? Because if you go to Illustrator, it may or may not have these. And also, if you want to do it in like any other platform, what you need to do is like first of all, say I want to create an Instagram story. So I would search Instagram story dimensions. So I can understand how much large my frame should be. So what I choose here is this is my pixel values. This is the dimension. This is the ratio I want to keep in. And again, because I know it is an Instagram story, so it has to be in portrait mode. So accordingly, I will create that frame. And instead of that, when I come to Canva, it creates that frame for me. So you can see why it takes away those kind of a part of your freedom is taken away just to make sure that they can help you make designs faster, because the Canva is made for people who are a small team, and it aims at reducing your load. So if it creates another Illustrator, it has no point. It has its own purpose, and that's what it delivers the best. Again, you can create your custom designs. You can just simply go say I want to have a custom design. What I will do, I will simply go around. Maybe I have a template. I can simply go ahead and edit photo, upload the picture, and start editing over it. Okay, I want to create a custom design. I know the dimensions. I can make it. So I can just go ahead and click custom designs. I have some recent ones. I have units in inch, millimeter, centimeter, whatever you want, right? So now we can jump onto the certificates part. Okay, so in certificate only, we have a lot of types of it. Okay, certificate, the standard ones, the 2 certificates. We have a certificate portrait, gift, hotel gift, academic, workshop. There are a lot of them. And how do they differ? You might ask. It's simple. Whatever you choose, the next moment you get template suggestions based on the category you chose here. So for say, like for example, I want to create a certificate for this particular workshop that we are conducting right now. Okay, so I just go ahead, move around, and now you can see I get suggestions that are relevant to such kind of workshop or any kind of professional act or initiatives, events. And okay, I want to just go around and look for a design related one. Okay, this one is good, but this one is way too much childish for our department to take on, because again, we are engineers right now. That's why some of you who have attended my sessions, you might understand that I'm actually from the inside longing for this one, because I have this kid mentality. But again, we want to stick to a bit of professionalism. So, okay, this one looks nice. This has some blobs. These are some design principles. It has a color palette followed. It has elements. It has, okay, fonts we might need to change. That's okay. That's good with us. This is a logo. We will replace it anyway. And as an online participant, hell, okay, it has date covered, speakers and all. It's actually great for a design event, I think, or maybe this one. Right, this is actually a way too much, so let's stick to this one. These two, this one's best, because these color shades that we are watching right now, these are the exact shades that are used in UI designs, and because this workshop is more on UI designing parts covered already, so let's go ahead with this one. So from now on, I don't need this template. I just need to go ahead, zoom in a bit. This certificate is awarded to this font. I didn't like that well. It's just a personal choice, so it won't be a big issue. What I will do, I will just Corsiva. This is one of the favorite fonts for certificates that I like. But again, let's break the rule this time. We'll go up for a bit different one, handwritten, so that every attendee gets a feel that they got a handwritten certificate, though it's all digital. Okay, so what we have here, I would suggest never to kind of worry about the text, because the text can be a lot difficult to read sometimes. For example, this is Amsterdam 2. It is so small and kind of curvy that I cannot read quickly. But what I will focus on is how the text appears. For example, this is clear, this is bold. What the name of the font? Permanent marker. I'm not interested much. Leo Handlight, will this work? Nah, that's actually a bit way too much thinner, because we can see we have certificate of appreciation that's much bolder than this. We want to always keep our focus of the certificate on the name. Second focus goes on to this event or maybe the college. The third goes to who are the organizers and who are the signees of the event. And the final goes to what is the certificate is about. The certificate of appreciation, the certificate of participation. So this is called as a design hierarchy. Okay, this is also subject to change depending upon what purpose what is the purpose of your design. For example, if this was a internal certificate that was meant for only people of YCC, then maybe I would have spent a bit more focus on the overalls rather than the name. Okay, so this is how you make decisions and kind of implement changes. Also, there might be much more differences. For example, there won't be this much empty space. Here it will come YCC and all details, address, logos and all stuff. So it will also have, for example, let's say if I want to make some space over here. So how will I make space, right? This is a actually great question, because while designing, it is a lot of trouble to change your designs every now and then. But again, when needed, we have to do it. So I'm just taking things around. I think certificate of appreciation stays here. And I can just keep this one here. Like I just created some space for the logos. And if I want to make some more space, I can just simply go ahead and do this. So now it's a bit more spacious on the above. Again, it's all about minor changes that you do. And all of those changes are just meant for one purpose, that your design should look good and it will it should convey the purpose well. Okay, if I have a few more signing people as well, for example, not just 2, I have 4. So how would you handle this? I will just make a few copies, make this a bit smaller, make some space for it, right?
See, the font hierarchy and the design hierarchy that Anmoldeep mentioned must be followed in the official certificate, since this is the official document that you are making. So you need to follow up the font hierarchy as well as the design hierarchy. You cannot mess that up, because if you use a font that is too funky or that is too out of the way for a certificate or for an official document, then it won't look good for certificate purposes. It is good for designing and all, but for certificates you need to use the fonts that are official. So
Right.
you need to go with that.
Also, coming to that point, what are official ones? So if you go into actual freelance designing or maybe designing as a professional, in that case you will be given what is called as a brand kit, what we just covered, right? There was this folder that we talked about, like brand kit, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, remember this brand kit? So in that what you will get is all of the set of logos that the client has to offer, that the client use as their brand image, and also they have some specific font that they use for their brand names and taglines and all stuff. They have those text that they use, the exact text of the tagline, the exact text of their brand name. And why am I calling it text and not just the name? Because there might be some names with, for example, if we call Canva Pro, so maybe the C and P might be capital in the brand name, and that's the brand image in the mind of people. So we cannot hamper that at all. We have to stick to that complete environment, the complete vibe that the brand has created for itself, and we have to follow that. After that, if there is something that we have to touch, we first of all adjust whatever is in our hands. We can adjust the sizes here and there. We can, as said, we can adjust the hierarchy. We can adjust some elements, again keeping them in accordance with the brand theme. We cannot drop the theme anywhere. And yeah, there is a lot of things to do, but you need to be sure what is permissible and what is applicable and what's not. Again, it all depends on the uh, design that you are making, for whom you are making, and what they have their constraints imposed on it. Okay.
Yes, perfectly spoken, Anmol. Another thing to add, for example, if you are designing certificates or you are designing any kind of official documents for colleges or any educational institutions, they follow a specific format. Two types of fonts are majorly used. That is, one is Georgia font and second is Times New Roman. So these two fonts are majorly used in these documents. So it might be helpful in future if you design these documents or certificates.
Right, well said. And also, if you ask why do we have these kind of principles, why do we follow certain type of fonts, why do we stick to one? The simple answer is, first of all, when it comes to institutionals and why do we have default as Times New Roman, the answer is simple. It is available on most of the systems. It won't happen that you open up a design and you have no fonts to render it, and you kind of see those boxes or maybe some Japanese characters, Chinese characters, just random stuff, and something that should not have been here. It's actually because there is no font to perfectly render or draw the text. Okay, so that's why Times New Roman and Georgia are kind of the default ones that comes with every operating system, and is much kind of surer that the system has those fonts. And maybe sometimes because it is a standard since ages, so that's why they keep up with the tradition and they want everything to stay into Times New Roman or something else. So that is something that is a constraint for you, but that is something also a part of your exploration, because break understanding the constraints first and then finding ways to be creative is something what a designer does. Okay, and that is our skill, because we know that any constraint, any number of constraints cannot stop us from thinking creative. There are still ways to be creative with all those constraints. If you like talk, if you talk about, if you're thinking like, am I, what is this about? What are we talking? The simple answer is, I just showed you, right, that we have this kind of, I was a part of Toastmasters, right? So we have these concepts that we have a brand kit to follow. I can show you that because all of these are just public domain elements and there is nothing wrong in showing options. Okay. So we have this brand kit. We can just use these 5 colors, or we, even if we want to go for gradients, we have specific shades of gradients. We cannot create gradients of our own. We also have some transparencies allowed. Other than that, not more, not less. It has to be 70%, means 70%. We have these logos. We cannot use these logos. We cannot use anything else like apart from these logos. We have logo word marks, we have logo mockups, and again we are also given fonts to follow. We cannot use any other font from these, and even if we want to, we have to take permissions from the PR managers, because, and that's a worst case scenario. For example, let's say, and actually not even a worst case, you just cannot follow it. There are just similar fonts available to Montserrat, and those are also allowed only if you cannot procure one copy of Montserrat, because Montserrat is a premium font, and accordingly you have to work around, but it should look similar at all times, because again, it is a part of brand identity. Okay. Okay, so they also showed body copy for collateral, Source Sans Pro. You can use this other one as well, some suitable places, but not the main headlines and all stuff. Okay, these are some kind of design elements that we can use in other designs. This is a plain solid box, and this one is a gradient. That's how you do gradient in Canva. You have gradient boxes and you give the shades from where to go. Okay, you can see, despite having these kind of strict brand compliance rules, we still create some great designs out of it. And this is just the glimpse of it. I can show you the other one that we created. Okay, this is one of the designs that I created out of the complete brand design guidelines. And again, it works really well. And what do you see here? Or everything here is brand compliant. The background is yellow, allowed color. The front is blue. Then we have a background of maroon. Then we have a front of yellow. I've just aligned things differently, changed the colors a bit. And there are some tags. Also, the logo mockup has some guidelines that you cannot kind of hodgepodge things into each other. You have to keep some spacing around the logo so that it's distinctly visible, and a lot of stuff. And I just created a stage out of a few lines. These are things that you will understand once you get started. Constraints are only there to challenge our creativity, and you know that there is no limit on creativity. So every challenge has to be won. You should never be losing any challenge. And if you're losing, it just means that it's the time now to go ahead and work on your creativity. And by that, creativity is not something that you have, it is something that you do. I have covered this whole concept in my previous sessions as well, and I speak this a lot nowadays, that creativity is something not you have, creativity is something that you do. Memory is not something that you have, memorize is something that you do. These are all just verbs. We can conquer any of these skills. We have to just practice smartly. There are ways to do it. Okay, moving back. Okay, we are just choosing a good font. We have all these. Okay, this homemade apple seems nice. Okay, that's not actually nice. It's way too much kind of irregular, I would say. It's so difficult to find a good font these days. Okay, this one's good. Column bold. Now let's see if we have any other. Again, once you start designing, you will fall into this trap. Can I make it even better? Can I make it even better? Can I make it even better? And you can spend ages designing just one design. So I would say always have kind of always have one time deadline on you, so that you actually finish designs instead of just making it better and better and better and better and for taking ages on it. Okay, so I think Coursera still wins. It's still the best out of everything. I don't know why can't I make it bold. Maybe just because it doesn't has the bold one yet. No issues, it's still great. Also, the certificate of appreciation can be changed a bit so that we can go ahead and choose any good one. Vardhana is also one of the common ones that is found on systems. Then we have some others. Playfair display, will that be good? Seems nice. Then we have, okay, I don't think I need any other one because again, this is a simple workshop certificate and everybody knows it. So there is not much difference. I can just go around and make this one bold, I guess. Okay, I am not allowed. That's strange. What I will do, I will simply go ahead and change the font so that I can make it bold. For that, I again need a good font. Which one to choose? Which one to choose? Good question. This one? That looks nice. But this doesn't offer bold as well. I don't want such one. Blogger light. Okay, this one has bold. Blogger. This is a bit bolder. That's great. So now I just want to do, just click outside. It is deselected. Now I can go ahead and edit. I have to just make it bold. STP on graphic designing. Errors keeps happening. Organized on, what's the date today? We have October 19th. That's great. Okay, October 19th, 2021. And I have a design ready. I have to just change these names. Also, one more thing. We just saw that Figma has that grouping feature. Illustrator has its own grouping feature. It has those layers and layers inside layers, layers inside layers. This is called as element hierarchy. And that is something that you can also create in Canva. Just you don't get that complete tree around you. You have to just go around and select all of them. Control G to group them, or maybe just click here so you can group them. I will just do the same for all three of these. I will tell you why am I doing it. Now I have all those elements as four single elements, and I'm just not sure that if they are evenly spaced or if they are equally on the right height. So if you want to do it in Figma or if you want to do it in Illustrator, you have some tools over there. And similarly, those professional tools and professional features are given into Canva in the name of space evenly. I can go around horizontally. I can go around for tidy up. Okay, just to demonstrate what was that tidy up thing. Okay, let me group this again. Now there is this one more thing that you might wonder. There is this one extra thing called as tidy up. It will automatically evenly space it around every single side, up, down, and left, right. Also, there are some strange, like not strange, but amazing, pretty fascinating parts in case of tidy up. I recently did that smart kid workshop, and in that I used this tidy up, and that was something that I didn't expected it to be. Okay, let me show you what it did. Okay, so what I will do, I will just simply duplicate it so my design is not compromised. What I did, I simply chose all of these elements, and there were, what do you think, what will happen if I click tidy up? Any ideas? Any guesses? Anyone? Where is that? Yeah, anyone? Any guesses? What will happen if I click tidy up?
Equally spaced. They will be equally spaced.
Right. But there is this one thing that I didn't expected it to be. I thought evenly spaced means it will be all circles and it will be like one circle finishes, other circle starts. But what happened? Just see. It created a nice, this kind of arrangement of these. But the problem was these are faces. This is okay when it comes to, for example, let's say, okay, this is daily dev, right? Some of you might know about this. Daily dev prizes. There is this epic prizes that daily dev give. Oh, wow, I am just wearing the same t-shirt that I won here. Okay, so what happens when they announce this daily dev results? What they do, I think they have removed it. Perhaps a brand new ambassador program. Yes, this is the same thing, but I don't know where is this page now. Okay, so anyways, what used to happen is when they presented, for example, there used to be this one. Can I draw it? Perhaps. I guess not. It will take a bit longer. So what used to happen is this kind of images were aligned for, you will get images like this. Okay, you get this one-sided stack of images for all the winners that I have got. For they have this one area in which they give every single circle with, if you go around and hover, you will get the name of the person who won the previous giveaway. But apart from it, for the first 5 to 10 winners, I guess they used to stay in this kind of complete hierarchy, or what you can call it, like stack of images. It was stack of display pictures for which like immediate winners used to show up like this somewhere. And this is something that you create, you can use in designs, or maybe you can when you are showing like how many people liked it. Say we are talking about Instagram, we have this and this person liked it, we just see 2 of them. What if we give this kind of at least 5 of them, the 5 recent like display images? So that is something that is pretty useful, and it is a bit longer pain to create these from hand, because you have to just go around, position every single one correctly, keep it evenly spaced. But the tidy up does it in just one shot, just like this. Okay. So moving ahead, what's next left here? Okay, we have this and we have some good spacing, and that's actually great. How many of you want this exact certificate to be used with all those signs, changes, and formalities, but as an actual certificate for your workshop, so that you can go around and say, can you see this certificate? This certificate is something that we learned how to create in the design workshop. What's it? Raise your hands if you want. Ved wants it. That's great. Vedata Mahajan wants it. That's great. Okay, I think 5 of you. Yes, 5 of you.
We can really make that happen, you know.
Yeah, just please go ahead and speak up or raise your hand, because if we get enough response, it will actually be the certificate that you created for yourself, and that too pretty much completely legally. Okay, it's not copying. Yeah. You won't get such kind of chances every now and then. Make use of it. Just 7 people. We have around, how many do we have here? We have 68 people. Only 7 of them want their own made certificate, because this is something that we made together. Okay, so we can completely go ahead and say that yes, we made it. 14. Great, great. Raise the count fast. Going great, going great. Okay, so let's say we are making it. Okay, there are enough responses, I think. Yes. How many hand raised do we have? Anna? I can't even count, so can you give an idea?
Let me see. I can't even see that.
Okay, we have around 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We have around 20.
28.
That's great. That's great. So this is the certificate that we will do now, because I don't have the assets and I want Anne to come up and add the actual elements from the client say our college. Okay. So for that, how would I invite Anne? Anne, can you please tell me your ID? Okay, no issue. So let's say if I want to like, do I have any other account? I do perhaps have it. No, I actually wanted to show how multi-user designing works here. So can we have somebody with us, like who has account ready, and I can invite them and we can make it together. Meanwhile, Anna, can you please send me the PNGs as well? So let's actually make it right. Also, there are some elements that having a pro account gives you. That's actually great as well. For example, there is this one image. I want to remove the background, and it's, even if it is pretty much difficult to segregate the background and front, it's still possible. Let's say I want to get this guy out of this image, right? What I want to do is I would just click on the image, edit image, and I will have many of those options for like photogenic filters, smart mockups, and a lot of stuff. But I have this being a pro user, otherwise it is unavailable for others, free users. But having a pro account gives you this liberty that you can go ahead and just click and you have it. It's processing. Let it do it. Let it do the magic. Kind of magic, because again, it takes a lot of time if you do it manually, but here you have it. Pretty quick. I have it. There is this one ambiguity that apart from the guy in the photo, there's this extra book came up, so I can just go ahead and erase it. Again, this has to be taken very slowly and steadily and consciously, because if I remove his finger, he might kill me for taking his finger out. Seems good. Ta-da! How long it took us? 10 seconds, 15 seconds, perhaps. Okay, so we have these logos here. Let's download. Okay, this one's gonna be a bit challenging because this is a way too much wider image. And I will show you how you handle such kind of situations when you have enough items at your arsenal. Let's just first import things. And this, I want this, and this. And just like Figma, images are also drag and drop here. Okay, now you can also see that these images are not that kind of interesting as of now, because these images are actually images, not vectors. So how would you handle this? Again, just like we did previously, we have remove background. It will remove the background for us. Any other image on it? No. I think for now it's okay. But otherwise, I would suggest to share PNGs only, because you know why. Okay, for those like who are kind of thinking what we just talked about, PNGs have a higher resolution and they do not pixelate this quickly. JPEGs are kind of less resolution sometimes, and they don't have much details in the images. They are made for the wider pictures, the scenarios, the photographic shots. And PNGs are much more suitable for graphics, vector arts converted to image forms and all stuff. So that's why we prefer PNGs over JPEG when it comes to design elements. Okay, so first of all, I need some more space because I cannot definitely just go ahead and do this. This looks pretty odd. So first of all, what I will do, I'll just simply crop it. Okay, so I do have logo, so I can crop it this much. Similarly here, a slightly more over here, so just so that I don't get the black borders. I have it, and because I have a background that works well, but despite of that fact, I think I see some kind of unevenness over here. Can I zoom and show you? I might be able to show you. I don't know if you can see it or not, but this area is a slightly pinkish and this is pure white, so that's looks something odd. So what I will do, I will go ahead, edit image, and once again background removal. Now you might say that, okay Anmol, it's okay, थोड़ा सा ही तो फर्क है, हल्का सा pinkish ही तो है. But in the eyes of designers, and once thing is printed, एक बार जब चीजें print होके आती हैं, then these small differences look a lot different when it's printed. So एक तो print हो चुका है, ऊपर से design issues हैं, तो बेवजह एक loss होता है बहुत बड़ा, और as a professional designer it's a cost that you have to bear because it was your mistake. So that's why it's best to give your best shot in the first shot, so that you don't need to spend hours later for correcting it. I think I still don't have that much level of clean elements here. So I can still see white over here. But okay, let's ignore it for now. We can recreate it in Illustrator. And this is where Illustrator is pretty much handy because I don't have this font. I don't have this hierarchy. But if I have that Illustrator design, I can just go ahead and quickly export an SVG file out of it, or maybe a PNG with transparent background. So that will help a lot. Okay, so now where to put the rest of the logos? Instead of like putting it sideways, what I will do, I will simply go around and keep it to the top. I will give this here. I will give this make a group logo here. I will kind of arrange them equally. You can see this pinkish line that only comes right now. This shows me that both of the logos have a equal level of equal height and they match equally. So this is something called as like what do we call this, Anne? These kind of interconnectedness with respect of positions in a design.
Alignment.
Alignment, yes. Again, I'm not that much into design as theoretically. I just feel the design and that's how I make it. It just happens that again, almost it is said, I guess, that if we divide nature in physics, chemistry, maths, biology, remember, nature doesn't know that. So that is something to remember, that even if we divide the design into alignment, typography, fonts, hierarchy, and visual elements, the actual essence of visuals doesn't know that. Visual has to just look great, create its own impression, and that's it. Okay, so moving ahead, I would also need some signatures, also the details of who is leading this event or whose name to put here. Anna, can you help me on this?
Add these later on.
Later. Okay, sure. So this logo is definitely not required anymore, so we can remove it. We just created some space for the logo to go sideways because otherwise it was feeling a bit hodgepodge over here. So let me just see the alignment again. Make sure it's consistent with each other. Yes, it is now. Equal spacing. Slight spacing here seems good. Let's group all of these elements together now, because once you are done with something, I will strongly suggest to group elements so that they do not change while you are editing other elements. Okay, I can just go ahead and position it in center. Okay, it's center. Let's make it slightly up, slightly higher as well. Okay, we have enough. Let's minimize this. And because it won't take much, there is some more space required over here. So let's delete this. Let's make it here. Let's increase the font size and make it bolder, perhaps. We have to remember, we have to keep the name in focus more than than anything else, because it is more of a generic certificate. So, and we just need to give some spacing. This is called as a white space, we call it. There are a lot of white spaces, but we should never kind of underestimate the power of white space in a design, because that is something that creates a big difference when it comes to the what do we call it, a user experience, or maybe the impact that it makes on the viewer, because white space gives you room to think, understand, and connect with the design, and that is the complete goal of designing. Conveying the purpose from the creator or from the originator to the viewer or the reader or whoever. Okay, so let's just keep things connected, and we have enough spacing, and I think this is great. What do you say, Anna? You will have some content here, like for example, Department of Computer Technology and some extra elements. So I'm keeping that space to edit later.
It looks pretty subtle.
Yes, Anna?
It looks pretty subtle, I said.
Yeah,
That's nice.
and that's actually a great word. Pretty settled. That's where we kind of think, yes, it's time to stop.
It's true. That is true.
Because in designing, the problem is that we don't settle early. We take a lot of time to just settle. Okay, now it's okay. I can settle for this one, and that's where the client starts calling us a lot of times. And the problem happens when the client loses their patience. So it's better to cover things up and settle, and kind of make decisions faster. And that's what happens when once you have done a lot of designing already. It's just natural for you to design a quick design, and if given time, you make a better design as well. Okay, so this is something for now done. Let's move back. If I want to share, I also want to show how does it looks when it comes to multi people editing on the same design. This is a feature that Canva is still working on, so it is kind of unstable. But the best way to do is if you want to share access to someone, and if you want to like edit together, I would say divide your time and don't edit together. But because of the fact that the changes are not saved every time, there are some kind of bugs inside yet that are yet to be solved, and this is kind of a beta feature yet. That's why they have not declared it much yet as of now, but it will be coming very soon, that you can actually go ahead and design collaboratively with 2, 3, 4 people. Okay, that's something for later. Coming back to this, what do we have next? Okay, so there are some things what you can do with Canva, right? So one of the biggest things that distinguishes Canva with any other designing software, Illustrator, Figma, Adobe XD, is that it's not meant for just one thing. Now you might wonder what am I talking about? The answer is you can create 2D graphics for sure. You can use vectors. Again, you can directly use your PSD files, directly use your PSD export, Photoshop exports and Illustrator exports here. You can use vector graphics. You can change colors of those graphics. For example, let's say I have this one graphic in which I've used this one vector, and I want to make it like maybe it's a blue. I can, because it's a vector. It's pretty easy to change colors out of it. Okay, and this is something that you might use a lot, because when it comes to brand compliance, then how do you put your creativity? You often can use some vectors and use the same colors as the brand, right? Again, that is not something that is allowed in Toastmasters. We are not allowed to use random graphics, but we can create our own graphics with simple shapes. That's how that staircase was made. It is an illustration. It is a thought, not a complete picture. Second thing, you can create videos out of your complete design. For example, if I want to, let's say this is my design, I want to make a video certificate for you. What I will need to do, I can just go ahead, click animate. I have a lot of premium ones as well. And this one is cool, let's say, and I just created a 5-second video certificate for you. I want to download this. Why not? Let's download this. We have say download. Okay, now you would say that I want a PDF certificate of it. I can just go ahead, file type, PDF, download. See, and all of these things are happening in the backend on the Canva servers. And that's why it's pretty costly, because they have a lot of things to handle. And at the end of the day, it's worth it if you are really using it. So we just got a certificate. And our video is coming up. Just a second. Video rendering takes a bit while because of the fact that video is rendered, not just exported. Okay, so let's just see how the video looks. This is a plain MP4 file. Okay, I forgot to install VLC as well. Okay, now you would say, if we have videos, do we have sound? Right? Yes, we do have sound. How would you add sound? It's simple. There is this tab, audio. I have to just go ahead. Let me turn on the system audio for you so that you can also hear. Can you hear this? Great. So again, I told you that Canva has a lot of inbuilt things to offer, and that is why Canva is so popular, because you don't need to go around and watch for inspiration. You don't need to go to Pinterest and watch inspiration for your designs, then come up and design it. You have inspiration and examples here, and that too as a template. Just directly use it. You want audio, you have it. You want images, you have it. You want vector arts, you have it. You don't need to go around and work around. And that was the part that takes a lot of time from a designer, right? And how much you agree that you spend, how much time do you spend on gathering inspiration and resources rather than actually designing it?
Well, most of my time goes in research.
Because once you have that inspiration, once you have that thought that yes, this is something that I want to make, the actual making part is not that much. It's just like writing a software or coding a software and just creating a complete product. The most of the time goes into requirements gathering, understanding, designing, and UI creation, data flow diagrams, architecture diagrams, instead of actually building it, because the actual coding part is just 10 to 20% of the last. And for say if you're creating a world class product, even in that case it is the last 30% of the work that is coding. Rest of the work is still completely documental and designing.
Yes, that is true. See, research is the most important part in designing. If you are going for professional work, research is must, and research is the most important part of a designing pattern to come up with a product. So, if you want to go it in a fast-paced manner, you don't have to do much of a research. You just have to get the product done as fast as you can. You can always opt for Canva. That is
Exactly.
one of the most important advantages of Canva.
Also, talking about fast designs, when it comes to fast designs, I would say there is one other way as well. Instead of Canva, because Canva has this one, Canva is great for fast designs. That's perfectly true. But let's say if you are really interested to make it in Illustrator or make it in, for example, Figma, the best way to do the same thing in Figma is to use aesthetic design. And
That's the key. Those are the keywords that are to be used while the research. When
people
you
say
search
it's
for
minimalistic,
backgrounds,
it's aesthetic.
yes, true. And following the current trend right now, the aesthetics are the most followed, most trending ones. So the keywords mostly used in the research purposes are to be done as aesthetic arts, or aesthetic backgrounds. Just search for it; you will get extremely good backgrounds.
Right. Okay, so just for example, I just did a Google search on aesthetic and see what I got. A completely blank image with just two or three types of flowers cloned and collected together. This is called as aesthetic design. And some people might argue this is a kind of way to cover one thing of a designer, that maybe the designer was lazy. It's not like that.
Well, actually, current. If you see the current picture right now, the flowers are centered in flowers are centered together in the center, and the negative space. The negative space is the enemy of the any designer. But here in aesthetic designs or the minimalistic designs, the negative space is being used positively to highlight a particular element. As in such case, the flowers are being highlighted by the negative space. So these are the different perspectives that designers use while designing and while providing the aesthetic wallpapers that Anmol is currently searching on.
And again, the beauty of aesthetic, I think, is because of the fact that we have in today's world we have a shorter attention span. And because of that, there was a time that people used to create so much intricately detailed designs. But right now, if you put such kind of design, for example, say uh, high detail designs, okay, if I go for such kind of stuff, you will see this kind of designs. The designer needs to spend so much of its time finding, choosing, and adding the right elements that feels right and works around and connects together. But the problem is, in today's attention span of just 15 seconds, this is also something that research says. Okay, on a glance we have 15 to 10 seconds attention span, and that's something that is the problem, that we are not learning that quick because we are not paying attention that longer that we used to do. Earlier it was 45 minutes. That's why our lecture was kind of adjusted to the duration of 45 minutes, because you cannot focus on one thing for more than 45 minutes earlier. Now it has even more reduced. And in general, our attention span for something random that you are not prepared mentally for is just 10 seconds. So in 10 seconds, you cannot understand the complete design. It takes around 20 seconds to work around, think, explore, dive into the design and understand it. And that's why aesthetics took the whole game to a different level, because there's just one thing to focus on. And that's pretty easy to cover into 10 seconds and still make good impact of it.
It wasn't
See?
just different level, it was totally different league.
Exactly. So it changed it completely turned the tables. Earlier we used to dive into for details. Now we are diving to less details. We are reducing the details. We are choosing, okay, this one is better, this one is slightly less, let's remove it. More space. The complete approach was changed once aesthetic designs came into the game. But again, it says that every design is unique in itself, and you will never know which design, which even might not look good to you. There are people that they will love that design. It's just that if you want to make it for the larger audience, you have to think in some ways, but there is no design that is wrong. Okay.
See, for example, Anmol, just scroll a
Yeah.
little bit up, exactly to
Yeah.
your right, a little bit down, below second, the third row, last one,
This
just below it, last one.
last one, this one.
Yes, exactly that one. See, here it is a mess. It is a total mess, but it looks good. So here, what designer says is, ki, okay, everything is followed in a particular color theme. Only certain color palette is being followed. Everything is just put on, just a random collage is being made, but it looks minimal. Why? Because all the overall negative space is being covered, but yet there is no focus on a particular object. So even if you glance at in a quick sense, you will be like, okay, this is a nice design. This looks soothing. This is a great color scheme. This can go with a background. This can be my wallpaper. So that's a great design for being just minimalistic and aesthetic at the same time. So there are different
Exactly.
approaches that designers use. It is
There are
kind of
a lot
personal.
of them,
It is
really
kind
lot of
of
them.
different.
And once you dive into anim, that's a different world.
Just let's leave it to another session, man. Just leave it to
Okay,
another
so
session.
moving back, what we were doing. Okay, this is something that happens with creative people. They spend a lot of time into the art rather than the work. Okay, so what we were doing here, I'm completely out of the league now. Okay, yes, I remembered. We were adding audio. So just let's choose one. Okay, not it. I want some kind of gentle one. Maybe a piano. This is kind of soothing, but for a certificate, it doesn't work well. Like I want some kind of present it. I need that vibe of some kind of accomplishment. So for that, I want maybe ambient might work. Okay. Let's enjoy. Why not? Some testing. Just let it. Not this. Okay, so I have added the audio track. How would I edit? Now I want to like maybe choose a snippet, other snippet. Let's see if I can have this. Just the instrumental part of it. That's great. Cool. We have it. We can create a video out of it. Done. This is how designing works. You just have your purpose in your mind and keep going. The design will be made. It's all natural once you connect with your art. I hope that's clear and a great experience for you to explore. Other than that, there's this one thing that is I have just 2 minutes, 3 minutes more. Should I cover it? Do you want one bonus thing or not?
Go ahead,
Up
go
to you. No, no, just not you.
ahead. Okay, sorry.
Yes, please continue.
That's great. Okay, this one is a kind of a game changer because I also started a bit of YouTube. I just used to do these sessions and put these session videos onto my YouTube channel. But I always remember this one thing that I want my face to come around somewhere in a square or a circle maybe. How can I do that? Then I understood that, okay, there is this OBS studio, but the problem with OBS is that it is a bit heavy on your system because it's also creating the display, this whole display, and also recording the display on the same system. And that is also not done using a GPU. It all works on Intel USD graphics. So that was something that was a kind of bottleneck, and my system used to heat up a lot because of that. So I preferred not to go for it, but something changed the game. And there was this something, what I'm talking about is, let me show you. Present and record. Okay, I might need to open this design on Chrome. No issues, I will do that. I have a design, I need to log in. Okay, that's a good question. How do I log in? I might need to log in myself. No issues. This is gonna take a second. I'm gonna definitely blur this out for all the security sake purposes. Okay, so I have it. Now I want to present and record. Just need to go around, and as you can see, this is a feature in beta right now. It's not completely released yet. And to show it, let me disconnect and have a good background because it won't have a good background for me, and I don't want the messy things to be shown behind. Am I visible enough to go ahead with it? Yes. So let's go to recording studio. Allow camera access. Allow mic access. I have a mic, I have a camera. I still don't have a camera, strange. Communications, mic is set up. Why not the camera? Right. Camera feed is blocked by MS Teams. And why not? There are a lot of instances of such things. Thanks for reminding. I completely forgot this part. Okay. I have camera. I have no camera. I do have camera. Yes. Can you please show me a picture? Yeah. That's great. Let's go ahead and record. Now the funny part is that what you see is not being recorded. This is the part that will only be recorded. And if I want to kind of change my place, I think I cannot do that. But I can just simply go ahead and let me kind of present it. Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to the Design Everything session with Anmoldeep Singh, aka CSE Singh. Let's move ahead with what we have on today. We don't have much of these slides, but we'll just covering a few visual things that has to be covered. First of all, let's learn about the Dunning-Kruger effect. And because as you can see, there is a lot of we have a lot of confidence when we start learning something. As we gain knowledge on it, we drop into the insecure canyon zone. But I strongly suggest not to stay there. Keep learning, and you'll become a great expert. And you will have even more confidence than you had at Child's Hill level. Okay, moving ahead, how to tackle this? As I said, there are just one way to tackle it. Keep learning, because that will only guide you along how to get through it, right? And then there is this part. What should we do next? We have to just, why it's not playing? Okay, this is the reason it isn't beta. It cannot play videos right now. Okay, thank you. See you next time. And let's say I am done with my recording. I have no changes to do, like I don't want to resume. I can just click done. It will upload my recording, the camera recording, the mic recording, and along with the presentation timestamps, which slide to show what animation to do, and similarly render it on the Canva servers. And once it has created the MP4 file, it will give back the file to me to upload anywhere I want to. Okay, so your recording link is ready. Save and exit, download. Where's this download thing? Kahan chala gaya ye? Is it here? It's okay, it's downloading, my bad. Okay, so once it downloads, it will have everything involved in it that we just covered along with the slides. I also discovered today that it cannot play directly videos. That is something specifically made for the present and not present and record feature. Let's see, will this take time? It will take a few minutes maybe. Let's kind of skip over it and cover the rest of the stuff before that. Okay, moving back, let's close this design. Also, I would strongly suggest you to use Notion because there is a lot of things. It's a really great way of kind of clubbing things together, and I kind of use this a lot for gathering resources that I share with others. Just on a single click, I create a page out of it and people can use it. See, this creates a site and you can just go ahead and use it. Taking us while, maybe it's uploading as well, or maybe downloading, I don't know. It's consuming up on my net maybe. You can just go ahead, web dev resources are here, a lot of them. Okay, something for later. Other than that, what I use it for is like perhaps maybe something else. This is something that I use for myself, my own stuff, and there are some other elements. Some things are I can share, something I can't because they have some credentials as well, so I should not kind of share these. Again, you know the reasons. Moving ahead, yes ma'am, we are concluding. We are just waiting for that video to download to kind of deliver the proof of concept. After that, we are pretty much done with this. Meanwhile, let's get back to the other designs. Some kind of and also those somebody asked about SVGs. I recently took one of the AWT sessions as a shadow teaching lecture, and this is something that I also created in just like perhaps 10 minutes. I would say, yeah. Okay, not 10 minutes. It was 30 minutes. Just 30 minutes before the session, I created this complete slide. I got a great theme, a great template. I just went on, added my elements, changed the text, added some images. It was a great index. Then we had, how is this made? This is actually the story. I got a text from Nikhil sir for the session. He suggested the topics. I said yes. Later, I discovered I have no idea of these except SVGs. There are some other things. For example, we covered catch up with JS, different browsers, web workers, SVGs, polyfills. I didn't know about web workers and polyfills. I went ahead, turned my all-time fire brigade, the internet, searched for the topics, and after 2 videos, 3 articles, and plenty of thoughts, I started making the presentation. This is what we made. We actually covered this on a hands-on as well. We actually coded a few things and created, perhaps we also tried to create a web worker. That didn't work well because of some kind of technical issues, but we had some reference, so we can follow it up later. And browsers, then there was this meme, AI, machine learning. If you look closely, it's statistics, and if you go even close, it's just a bunch of if statements. That's pretty much it, but we cannot say that we can code those if statements ourselves. That's why we use statistics, and we cannot do statistics all the time. That's why we use machine learning. And if we can't even understand how we are learning, so how can we teach a machine to learn? So that's why we call it AI for our convenience. What can I do with JS? Exploring web workers. There are a lot of things that you can do. Something that you will, this is the resources that I've also shared this. You can have it. I think in the resources, we will also share this one slide so that you can have those reference links as well. Will that be possible, Anna? We can do that, right? Okay, we have the video. Let's see how it's recorded. This is the part that will only be recorded. And if I want to kind of change my place, I think I cannot do that. But I can just simply go ahead and, okay, let me kind of present it. Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to the Design Everything session with Anmoldeep Singh, aka CSE Singh. Let's move ahead with what we have on today. We don't have much of these slides, but we will just covering a few visual things that has to be covered. First of all, hey, let's see
that icon also goes
with animation and comes back. And because as you can see, there is a lot of we have a lot of confidence when we start learning something as we skill level. Keep learning, get through it. This part.
Oh, it actually played.
What should we do next?
Pretty interesting.
Just okay, this not play videos right now. Okay, thank you. See you next time.
Okay,
And
so
let's
that
say
means that it does shows the video, but we cannot see it on the presenter side. It will play, no issues. We have to just assume that it's been playing. And walking around, I think that's enough. So for the session, I would say thank you for being here. See you next time.
Okay, so now we are open for doubts. Anyone has any kind of doubts, you can ask. You can unmute or you can type in chat.
Sure. Meanwhile, I get back to my desk.
Anmol, can you share the Canva software link?
Canva what?
Canva's link in the chat. People are asking for it.
Okay. So that's pretty much simple. You can just have to type Canva. You have this link, and just for your convenience, I will be doing this. Just go ahead, chat. Canva is not a software, I would say, as like a standalone desktop software. It is a website in your words, I would say. It is a web platform. You have to go ahead, open your browser and go to the URL to use it. It has its standalone software as well, but again, it uses the same thing in the behind the scenes. It's just like a better UI for your system. You can install its app, standalone app on your system, and it will use all the features from your system, and it becomes a bit easier to design. But at the end of the day, you cannot work on it without internet. You need internet for Canva. Yeah. Any other questions, doubts, thoughts, vibes to share here? We are open for it. Meanwhile, let me remove sign out.
Okay, so I guess there are no more doubts.
Come on, एक भी doubt नहीं.
Okay.
After accessing the trial period, can we access GitHub Premium membership? GitHub Premium membership stays. See, there are different entities. Okay, first of all, there's this GitHub. GitHub as an entity, it offers a developer pack. Developer pack has coupons that you can use on different platforms, and out of those different platforms, Canva is one. Okay. So GitHub Premium stays. GitHub Pro, what they call it, you can create teams, you can create orgs. That all stays for as long as you are a student. Okay, you have the GitHub Pro account access for the complete 3-4 years, whatever. But Canva will only be available once you redeem the coupon, and from the date of redemption, you will have its access for the next 12 months. No matter when you redeem that coupon, you will have your actual count of that offer will start from the day you redeem it. And again, it is important to redeem it before your complete developer pack expires. Otherwise, again, it's no use. Atharva wants to say something. I see a raised hand. Anyone? Any questions? Anything else?
Yes, students, anyone is having any question?
After accessing in laptop, can we download Canva app? Yes, you can, though it still requires internet. Screen is not shared. Sorry, I have remembered that later. I hope it is right now. In laptop, can we download Canva app? Yes, we can download Canva app. It still requires internet. Okay, ma'am. So I think we are good to go.
No any questions, students? Okay. So, dear students, we are now at the end of the one-day workshop on user interface and graphics design. Hope you enjoyed this workshop. So, I'm Mrs. Smita Kapse on behalf of Computer Technology Department and on my personal behalf, very thankful to speakers of this workshop, Anay Patharkar, Sanskar Saure, and Anmoldeep Singh. All these are the my students of final year. I am also thankful to all the participants who sincerely attend this workshop. Finally, I would like to give my sincere thanks to our HOD, Dr. Rakhi Wazgi ma'am, and Principal Sir Dr. UP Waghe. I also like to thank MGI management for giving opportunity to organize this kind of workshop. Hope all of you have enjoyed the learning from this student development program. Don't stop here. We have to learn more, start exploring, start continuing exploring these all tools told by Anmol, Sanskar, and Anay. So hope all of you have great learning. Okay. Thank you one and all.